All right, here we go. Today we have James Slim Bouler, former golf and gambling partner of Michael Jordan, whose story was highlighted in The Last Dance. Welcome to VladTV.
Welcome to be here.
Well, this is our first time sitting down, so I want to get your whole story. So where did you grow up exactly?
Well, I grew up in South Charlotte, which is off of West Boulevard. And downtown, we moved from West Boulevard to downtown Charlotte, which is South Tryon and Sunset.
Okay, and I understand that your parents were kind of struggling growing up, that you're actually in a house without running water.
Oh, man, we were so poor, but we didn't know what poor was because we never experienced anything for what we always had in our household. We didn't have water, lights, not bathrooms.
Wow. During that time, if we're talking about the 50s and the 60s, what were some of the hardest things that you had to go through? Because this was kind of during segregation time.
Well, at an early age, during that particular time, we didn't have much, but what we had in our home was love, plenty of love and understanding, and that's where the form of respect came in. We respect our mothers, our fathers, and our elders.
Okay, so at what point did you actually get into golf?
Well, it was 12. See, where we lived at was directly across the street from Carolina Country Club. And my grandmother paid her rent to Carolina Country Club because we rented the house from them. And every month, the pro would ride up to our house in a little golf cart, a little easy go, to pick up his rent money. And it fascinated me because we didn't have a motor vehicle. And it seemed like 90% of the places we went, we had to walk. So at the age of 12, I started caddying at the golf course to, raise a little money for the household as well as myself. So one thing led to another, and then just to watch it, I got fascinated because we didn't even have a TV, not even a radio, because we didn't have no power in the house that I grew up in.
Okay, and what's interesting is that Black people weren't even allowed to play golf until 1957.
Well, that might be true, but on the other hand, when I became 12, when I was caddying, in the book that I wrote, I Bet on Air and Lost It All, you will find an article in there where I'm 12 years old, walking down the fairway, and I asked the guy that I was caddying for, I asked him, I said, could I hit a shot down the fairway? He looked across to his playing partner and said, this little nigga want to hit a golf ball. We all know that niggas are only made for caddying. Now, I was 12 years old at that particular time. When he used those type of words, I didn't understand because I grew up in a house where we didn't hear that. And I never been around it. And so I know it sounded rough, but being 12 and being naive at the particular time, it's kind of hard. So at the age of 22, I'm 10 years older. I experienced a little bit more of the world than I had at 12. And I ran into this young man in a particular golf tournament, and I walked up to him and I asked him, do you remember me? He looked, no, he gave me the, why should I remember you? I say, I'm the same little nigga that you called me at the age of 12 when I was caddying for you at Carolina Country Club. Now, I'm 22. What can we do? How can we make this thing right? Now, we could play for any amount you want to play for because I was ready. I was taught you kill a mosquito with a sledgehammer. I never bared down or felt like I was in a lower class because I had the ability, and I had the, like we just say, the nerves of steel, and it didn't bother. The money didn't bother me. The money didn't bother me whatsoever. What I had in my pocket, I would put it in the window. I would bet it all.
Did you end up beating him?
I think you can answer that question.
There you go. Okay, so you started getting better at golf, and you started to build up your money by essentially betting on games, right?
Yes.
And I guess by the 80s, you had made enough money to actually buy your own pro shop.
Yes. And not only gambling, and then you learn that when you playing with your money, it's a different game, because if you don't win, you don't eat. And then when you get to the point where people come in and want to give you money to bet with, then you get a percentage, then you can just about free yourself up a little bit. And
Okay.
it was real, it was real nice. And then we didn't have the opportunity to play on the PGA because I didn't have money. Coming from the South Charlotte, it was hard. So I had to do what I had to do to make it.
Well, when I was doing research on you, were there some sort of cases that happened, I guess, in the early 80s? There was a cocaine case or a firearm case or something like that?
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I had beat a guy out of maybe $35,000 in Atlanta. On my way home, he gave me some drugs. He said, take this cocaine, and you probably won't go to sleep driving back to Charlotte. See, it didn't faze me because I never drank, never smoked, never took any type of narcotics or drugs of any sort. And I'm 71 years old, and I'm still drug-free, alcohol-free, smoke-free. And the nurse told me last week, that I had a body of a 35-year-old man. I said, where it at? So I was at home in Monroe, chipping in my front yard, practicing locally, and a girl came by. I'll never forget it as long as I live. A girl came by, her name was Diane, and the undercover agent she had with her, his name was Hodge. And they asked me, do I know where they can get some drugs? I said, nah, I don't know where you can get no drugs. I don't know. And then I thought about it. I said, yeah, Diane, go in there and look on my kitchen table. And you could find some on my kitchen table. Then y'all guys can have it. So when she came out, he approached me and said, man, we got to pay you for this. I said, no, I don't need any money. You can have it. No, we got to pay you. So I said, I'll tell you what you do. Whatever you give me, I'll donate it to the church, and that'll be a donation from you, but I don't need any money. That was in May. June, July, August, September, November. They came to my front door looking for drugs every day. No drugs. Then I go to court December the 3rd for a secret indictment. I go to court, and I'm placed on probation, which they gave me for $45, which I didn't know anything about the law. It was a felony. Now, I love to hunt and fish, and I'm a country boy. So one particular day, I was in the woods hunting, and I was deer hunting, and I had a 30-06, Smith & Browning 30-06. And when I come out of the woods, the man wanted the gun. He didn't want me, he wanted the gun. That's how I got a case with a convicted felon with a firearm and a drug case.
Okay, so here you are running the shop and making money, golfing, And then one day, Michael Jordan shows up in a course down the street.
Right.
So what happens when you find this out?
Well, I'm in the shop. It was Golf Tech on Roosevelt Boulevard in Monroe. And a guy come running through the door. He said, Slim. I said, what you want, man? He said, Michael Jordan down to the golf course. I said, I don't care about that. What you want? Well, man, they down there gambling. I said, what? He said, yeah. I said, what they playing for? Whatever, 50, 100, I don't know. I don't have no money to get in the game, so what are they playing for? So I said, well, I looked over my shoulder. You say 50s, 100s, or whatever? He said, yeah. So I looked over my shoulder, and I called one of the guys that work with me, that hustle with me around the world. I said, George, get my golf clothes. We going to work. Let's go to work. He grabbed my golf clothes. We jumped in my car, and we went to the golf course. And I caught Jordan them coming up number 9. And I walked over, I said, man, can I get in y'all game? Can I play? He said, well, whatever. I said, well, he smiled and I smiled, and he was running the show, so I'm very, very quiet. Now just remember, kill a mosquito with a sledgehammer. You don't need to put any brags on what you can do. Just be quiet and enjoy the atmosphere. So we started playing from that moment until the end that we played was in Hilton Head. That was the last time I seen Michael other than in the courtroom.
Okay, so you meet him that day. This was like 1985, I think?
Yeah.
And I guess you won 200, then you doubled it, then you tripled it. I mean, by the end of the day, how much money did you win from Michael Jordan?
Well, I don't know. Like I would say, it was more than $10, but less than $1 million. Okay. So you can put the number between.
How good of a golfer was Jordan?
Michael was just starting. Really, he was a competitive, and he loved to gamble. He loved to play. And it's hard to take a defeat. And, I could say I wasn't played in basketball. And he was all right, but he couldn't beat me.
Okay. And I mean, Jordan's gambling really over the years, there's been some crazy stories. I remember Charles Barkley said that Jordan wanted to play him for $300,000 a hole and stuff like that.
I would too. Especially Charles Barkley.